In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one, the only Cash Kraus. How you doing today?
I'm doing good because you know what day it is?
It is our Foreign Film
Friday, and I always love Foreign Film Friday.
As do I.
It's a
fun.
great day. We're keeping on the South Korean
train.
Track. Yeah. Absolutely. Except we will be switching it up next week.
We will be. We will be doing a Russian film.
Going to the motherland.
We are going to the motherland.
Mother Russia.
We will be exclusively have a personal meeting with Putin himself to discuss
well,
this
Putin
upcoming
came
film.
down and I quote, recommend, because when Putin recommends something, you do it.
You do.
You do it. Or he
sends
someone to see you, and you don't want that.
You do not want that.
You don't want that.
That is the last thing you
So
want.
we will be doing Sputnik next week.
Sputnik, yes.
Yeah.
Which it's a Russian sci-fi film, and I am just
Russian sci-fi horror film.
Horror film.
And you got to think, the Russians, they know their space, right? And they know their horrors too, because Russia it's crazy over there.
If it scares the Russians,
absolutely,
it's going to terrify me.
Because famine, disease,
they shake that off. They go, no big deal.
Oh, that's just a winter. that's
just
one
an
winter.
That's
one winter. Yeah. Oh, half my family died.
Yeah.
That's why we have 30 more.
Exactly.
That's why mother had 18 kids. But yeah, we will be going. So that is exciting.
It is very exciting stuff.
But for now, we're sticking with South Korea because we've been on such a hot run.
Oh, dude, South Korea makes
fucking
awesome
heater.
films. Yeah.
And they know action so fucking well.
Yeah.
My God, dude. We are talking about The Villainess, 2017 South Korean action film. And I got to tell you, if I had seen this film in theaters in 2017, it would have made my top 10 list.
Wow.
I loved this film. It was a thrill ride.
It was
from start to finish.
From start to finish, and the story coincided very well too with the action.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. There's so many films where it's just good action and then you're sacrificing story, which is 90% of American action films.
I got to be honest with you though, and I don't want to jump into it right away, but I have to. Dude, at first this film really scared me.
Really?
I'll tell you why. I don't mind first-person stuff, but after that big, long sequence in the very opening, the opening of the film, where it's all first-person, I was sitting back and I was like, oh, fuck, is this whole thing?
Oh, no. We saw the trailer.
Not like Hardcore Henry, but I'm talking about the action scenes specifically.
Oh,
I was like, are these going to be, is this predominantly going to be in first person with a few third person perspective, and then it jumps all back to first person? I was like, please don't overuse this, because I'm gonna hate it by the end of this film. But they used it just enough.
They did not. They perfect, yeah.
It was just enough right in the beginning, and I liked it. You know, it's cool, it's unique.
When it's done right, it can be done well.
Yes.
When it's done for 2 hours, it can be disorientating and make you kind of sick.
Yeah.
But when it's done right and the camera work is done, that's the first thing we got to talk about. Praise the fucking cameraman and the cinematographer on this film. Unbelievable the shots they were getting during those action scenes. I mean, that guy, I hope he was paid more than anyone else on the set.
He deserved it.
He was doing the full film, I feel like.
Yeah.
Those sets, I mean, the shots, let's talk about the opening scene. There's a 20-minute single cut, quote unquote. Obviously, they're using tricks.
Yeah.
They go through doorways, but the whole thing's supposed to look like it's one, and it does look phenomenal. But the way the camera was going in and out and spinning and shit when she was spinning, and how it transferred from that third person, which he hit the mirror and came out.
And then comes back out, Well, and even
unbelievable,
the
man.
mirror tricks they were able to do too. Because remember when they're fighting in that giant mirror room, which might have been a dance studio, whatever it was, but the giant mirror, I kept looking for like maybe a little piece of the camera.
It still blows my mind how they do that.
And they they just pulled it off perfectly, and I was like, wow. This is so impressive. But you are right. That was a scene specifically I wanted to bring up when he boom smashes her head in the mirror and then brings it back,
and then
it
the
goes
camera
back
comes back and it goes around to the third person. Fucking beautiful.
It's so cool, man.
So beautiful, man. It's so good and satisfying to watch. But that opening scene, the fight choreography, man, was insane. I didn't think. I mean, it sets the bar so high. That's what
the tone for
that's
the
what
whole
most South Korean films that we have seen. They start out. It's not like
out of 10.
It's not like we're gonna ease you into it. It's we're gonna push you into the fucking deep end and just hope you survive. It's
pretty metal.
It's exactly.
It's like we're gonna melt your brain with this power, like with all this.
And
action.
I knew right at the start it was gonna be a scene that was like the end of the film or whatever, but it was showing us right at the beginning of how, because obviously she was so good already, but that hallway scene when if I ever do an action film, I gotta have a hallway scene.
No, of course.
Because those hallway scenes, when you're fighting in a fucking phone booth, and it's so tight.
People are coming in and out of different doors.
Remember the Daredevil hallway scene was so good. Remember they did the whole thing in one take? It was took them like 10 months to rehearse. Which this film, I'm guessing it probably took 6 months to rehearse this scene. This opening scene,
had to have.
Was by far probably the same amount that it took to shoot the entire rest. Except for maybe the bus scene, which was also phenomenal.
The bus scene was cool, dude. And if we're talking about the camera work, let's talk about the camera work for that bus scene. Or the
camera work throughout
scene.
the entire thing is just, it's insane, dude. It's so underrated.
It is.
This guy should have won. I mean, it should have been nominated for an Oscar. I get that foreign films almost always just nominated for foreign film. You know, they never get. But this guy should have been nominated for a cinematography because it was so good.
And I just want to bring this up. It irritates me when I hear people like, Jason Statham come out and say, "Oh, action movies."
I talk about it all the time. Yeah.
No. Good action movies like this, with good choreography, with good camera work,
and with a good story.
And a good story.
The story is just as important.
It is.
If it had all those amazing scenes and then the story was just lackluster and you didn't care about these characters or the little girl or even the husband
so much
or anything.
Away from it.
Yeah. And there's so many, as good as the action is, there's so many twists and turns to this story.
Yeah.
It keeps you guessing. And that's not like an action movie I've seen. Losing an action movie, you know exactly from beginning to end, you know exactly the beats it's going to take and exactly where it's going to go.
Yes.
Every time.
And you even care about each character individually. I mean, even Minju, like her best friend in this like assassin training school type of situation, like you really do care about her. I mean, I won't get into details specifically, but
super cool. The academy was awesome too. When she first wakes up and she's like freaking out, from the plastic surgery, and she's freaking out and she's running through the buildings and it's like there's so many long single takes, but she's running through and each door she's running through is like completely different.
Totally different.
Ballerina, kitchen, and it's
theater
like,
school.
What is this? Exactly. What is this place? It's crazy, but that was so good. Where she's got the guy with the knife too. And then you realize later on that almost everyone wakes up like that and tries to get out, and they always have like a system of like, oh, I'll go with you.
Take her? Who's going to take her out?
And then when they close the door, she's like giving it a thumbs up. It's really good, man. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I just had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
From beginning and end, I had a lot of fun. And I kept trying to think, when the twist was going to happen, where the story's going to happen. But I really liked the progression of showing her dad die, which was a brutal, awesome scene.
Hell.
And you knew the entire time because she was hinting at that she was revenging her dad and whatnot.
Because he stole a diamond?
Yes, a diamond.
From them? Yeah,
yes.
From the gang, or from these gang members. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't fucking steal diamond from these gang members because they'll sledgehammer you. And again, something about South Korean, they don't shy away. When you think that camera is going to cut away, they keep that camera on, and it just delivers such a more powerful moment.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I was thinking with that little girl under the bed hiding, which, is obviously the main character as a child. But I was thinking for that child actress specifically, I go, dude, what a brutal scene that must have been. And I get it, there's just a camera and someone squirting blood in her face, but still, it's like, Oh, wow, that's powerful.
And that was one thing.
It's powerful to see that instead of just cut to and cutting away.
Well, then when he's sitting on the bed swinging the sledgehammer, it's very tense.
It's very
And that's what
eerie,
this
too.
film had. It had a little bit of everything. It had a little bit of that love, a little bit of that tension, but a lot of that action and a lot of gore, man. She was constantly being sprayed in the face
With blood,
the entire movie. Even when she goes on the first, not her first mission, but the first mission with her friend, you know, the one that goes awry. She's just getting doused in blood. Her friend's blood and the guy's blood. It's
not.
if it was the 80s, you'd have to worry about AIDS. I mean, the entire time you'd have to be worried about. I mean,
especially these guys always getting
these
gangsters.
gangsters. These gangsters, man. Because it's full on. She's not closing her mouth ever.
No.
She's getting
just blood
spraying
everywhere.
into the mouth. You could tell she's swallowing that.
Oh, yeah, for
It's
sure.
going down a little bit.
It's not good.
Yeah, she's got to have a ton of iron in her system.
Yeah.
She's drinking gallons of blood at this point.
is.
But yeah, love the dad scene.
That scene where she's under the bed too. I got to bring this up because it freaked me the hell out.
When he
I was
jumps
not
out.
expecting it.
I didn't
when
jump
he
for
goes
some
like
reason.
This and he swings down and he looks right at her and I'm like, oh, like I jumped, dude, because I wasn't expecting it. I thought she was just gonna hide.
And
be
it's
fine.
the yellow teeth guy.
Yeah,
the
yellow
guy
teeth
who that was before her first mission when she was being trained by the guy who plays a huge role in it, but the mustache guy.
Yeah.
But he plays a huge role in it. But yeah, her whole training, but that was her first mission with that guy was to go and kill that. And then he kind of, because the whole thing, there's so many things you're trying to figure out. Who killed her father? Who's the dad of her baby? Who's this stranger? And I don't want to get into it because the twists are so good.
Yeah, they are.
But just how they set up how you thought this one guy was dead the entire time,
Yep.
And how she thought too. And then the imagery, I'm getting kind of all over the place, but the imagery of her standing in her wedding gown and with the sniper rifle was such a cool just shot to shoot that it should have been. I don't know if it was the poster, but it should have been the poster.
It could have been the poster too.
It could have been the poster.
I do like the design. The design of this poster is pretty cool, and the color
it's kind of generic, but I would have liked. I think it would have been really cool to see that bride on her wedding day with
the bolt action sniper rifle.
Which just then turned out that she never had a real wedding in her life. They were always being 2 weddings she had, and both times everyone was fake.
Sad.
Yeah, it's very sad for her. It's very unfortunate. She had a horrible life, but the actress who plays her, what's her name? Kim? Go all the way down.
It's Kim Ok-Vin.
Yeah, who plays kind of a dual role where she plays one person, then she gets plastic surgery, but she's playing the same person.
Yep.
But it's still played by the same person.
Different person.
Yeah, exactly. But
Suki.
But she did such a good job of playing that role and playing like she had so much trauma. I like the scene when
she's a great actress too, might I add,
fantastic.
because she could go and be a badass and then do a complete 180 and have these super emotionally invested scenes with her daughter, with her husband, or her boyfriend, her love interest. Like
she's married, her ex husband.
Or her ex-husband. Well, and even the roommate that ends up being, working
he was just
for
a
the
plant.
agency.
He was a plant the whole time, yeah.
But I mean, those emotional scenes where she's crying and she's breaking down, I thought just were really well acted.
That best scene after, or her best acting scene is when it's after the wedding and the guy figures out that she's still alive,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes and meets her at dinner, and you could tell she's holding in everything. And then that's such a strong emotion just to act like that.
Oh yeah.
But when he
convey.
walks away and she just completely breaks down, man, that was really good acting. It reminded me of Inglourious Bastards when she's sitting with Hans or whatever, the Nazi hunter.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he's going to rent out her theater and she's got to act like, and then when he leaves, she just explodes emotion. That reminded me of that. It's both really, really good. But yeah, Kim Ok-Vin, that's her name?
Yeah, Kim Ok-Vin.
Fantastic. And plays 2 roles again, Soo-Ki and Cha Yin-Soo, which I was struggling to keep up with the names.
Yeah, the names are difficult.
I was struggling to keep up with the names, man. And I'm not because they're Asian names, but because at one point she goes by Soo-Ki, and then the next one she goes by Yoon-Soo.
Yoon-Soo, yeah.
Which can be very confusing.
Right.
Very confusing, but you know, I followed it pretty well the entire time.
Of course.
Even the twists and turns, you know, I kept up with. I felt, but a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of twists and turns. That's for sure.
A lot of twists and turns.
I know we're trying not to spoil it.
I know, but it's hard not to when
spoil
the story
it.
relies so heavily on those
the
twists.
plot,
And turns.
yeah.
But just know that they were done very well, and not too heavy-handed too. Where it's like, I thought it was going to be the double agent, triple agent kind of thing. It didn't end up being like that at all. It was
Well, and it was very poetic the way that this movie started, in the way that this film ended.
yes,
Because we get that, and I won't ruin the ending, but we get the pan in the very beginning, where she's standing there and police are surrounding her, and she's got kind of this grin on her face.
Yeah.
You know, kind of this smile on her face. Of course, just plastered in blood.
well,
Just
she
covered.
literally wiped out the entire outfit of the gang that the guy she married, his arch rival gang. And I'm not talking about she wiped out like the main guys. I think she killed all the way down to the fucking ball boy.
Oh, yeah. Lee Jong-sang's rival gang.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I think even she killed like the guy that was just like sweeping up the building.
Yeah,
Like
just the janitor. He's just cleaning bathrooms, got his headset
the
on.
landlord, he just came in. Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Just getting ready.
Wiped. Because
Fucking
how many
shot-
guys did she kill?
Didn't she kill the chef, too, at one point? I think she shot the chef in this place.
Yeah, I don't even work here. They hired me for the night.
I'm just a mailman. I'm
How many
delivering.
guys do you think she kills in that opening scene? 40?
Well, I mean, think about this. So she plasters through like
I'm telling you,
40
it goes on
guys.
for so long. After the hall scene, you're like, oh my God, your heart's beating. You're
Yeah.
like, it's over. It's done. She goes to another room.
She goes downstairs, and then there's another 40 guys
Yes.
in that dance studio.
Yeah, the gymnasium.
Yeah, the gymnasium, yeah. And I'm like, oh, God, this is not going to end well.
No, and those guys are thinking,
Oh, we got this.
they're very confident.
We got this.
Not knowing that she just wiped out the
40 other
entire-
guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Went through the hall, went through 5. And I like this scene, that opening scene, because it's all shot in first person. It's so chaotic and insane, and people are just getting stabbed, and guys are spraying blood. That it's so crazy that sometimes you have to kind of disconnect your logical brain at some point. Because
You
when
do.
she's going to the building and she's fighting one, there's a guy that immediately jumps through the outside.
Uh-huh.
What
Through
was
the
that?
outside of the
What was that guy
window?
repelling?
Just crashes
Maybe
in.
he was just painting the side. He's like, oh, shit's going down.
He's like,
I gotta
swinging
get
it?
in there. And he full on Rainbow Sixes it. Just
He does, breaks through the window.
but
Doesn't
immediately just gets
last long.
stabbed to death.
Yeah. He didn't think that one through. He's just like, I got to
Well, I'm like, what was that guy doing?
I have
But
no
again,
idea.
it's just so cool that you just kind of, and it doesn't always work like that way. Sometimes the story and all that, it's not good enough, so you can't. But for this film, it was so well done that I could disconnect some things. From it.
Yes.
The motorcycle scene where she's being chased is fucking awesome.
Oh,
I don't think-
yeah, dude, we got to talk about that. That scene was,
Yeah.
again, the camera work, incredible. The
I don't know how they
stunt
do
work,
it.
Incredible. I don't
It
know
seems
how they
so
did it.
dangerous and irresponsible.
Super. Yeah, like
get
how
these
many
shots.
actors, how many stunt crew
Like, we got to
died
do it. Sorry,
on this
guys, we
set?
got to do it. It's for the good of the movie. I don't know, man.
Like,
I don't know about this one.
Jim and Ted just died last week. Are we sure we want to continue on with this?
Trust me, guys.
We gotta
I
get
think
this
we worked
shot.
at the Kings.
Third time's a charm, am I right?
Yeah, it's crazy, but that it's one of the best just action choreography scenes that I've ever seen. We have to eventually. There's a film from I think it's Thailand called The Raid, and there's a sequel called The Raid Redemption. But it's just 2 hours of like this action.
Really?
We'll eventually have to get to it.
Oh,
There's
for
some
sure.
of my favorite films. We'll do it for a Foreign Film Friday one day. But yeah, that motorcycle. But at some point, she like jumps the motorcycle up a car, and it doesn't make any sense physically. I mean, she would have to bunny hop
Right.
up
the car.
because it cuts and she's already on the hood.
yeah.
But again, it's just there's so much and it's happening so quick that doesn't interfere. It doesn't to me. It never took me out of the film. And sometimes it does take me out of the film. But stuff like that, and it happens so infrequently and barely. Most of the time, it is steeped in realism.
Well, and that's the thing, too. When you have fight choreography that maybe is 40 minutes of this film, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
When you only have glimpses of these, not believable parts, it's really okay because you got to take the choreography and the fighting as a whole and go, wow, this is really something special that they were able to put together.
Yeah, and it was never a thing that, like, the movie hinged on that. Like, if it was, if the story couldn't go on without her doing some
jumping
of this,
the car, in order to make it across the bridge or something.
Exactly, stuff like that. But yeah, like even like the whole scene of like, you know, again, we're gonna get in, there's spoilers. We always get in spoilers, but
that's fine.
The scene of her daughter, you know, like them just having to set it up so they get blown up out of
the window.
It's perfect, you know. I mean, I mean, luckily, what if they just blew up and just burned alive in there?
Right. But it was believable though, because like her daughter was like, "Wake up, wake up," and then he tries to get out. And blows. But
they could have went through the door.
I had was, why not just kill him right away? Why have him? Why wait for her to explode the apartment?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Why not just kill him and have her discover the dead bodies and then kill her?
Exactly, because it wouldn't have been as theatrical. Have her just and brutal. Have her just a charred corpse of her 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, and that's something that we got to talk about too, because they did not shy away from it. I thought for sure that he was going to be the saving grace and save her somehow, and that she was still going to be alive.
And that was going to be his kind of arc because he never. But I kind of like that they went that because really that guy was in love with her.
He was,
but he was just a perv. He was just part of the guys that watched all the girls.
Oh, yeah.
Because eventually they were going to have to be their handlers.
Right.
But they make you move in and make you fall in love and marry this girl so they can be this undercover.
As far as the character is concerned, I really did believe that he actually did genuinely love her.
I mean, maybe, but the fact that he fell in love with her through watching her in a camera and then like sneaking in.
Right.
You knew immediately they were never going to wind up together.
No.
I mean, I knew that guy was going at some point.
Yeah, he has to. It's going to move along the
I mean,
plot,
either she was going to kill him or someone else was going to kill him.
That was something, too, that I enjoyed quite a bit about this movie is I never knew who the real bad guy was. Because there was even times when Kwon Suk, which was the lady in charge of the agency, there were times where I was like,
two ladies with short hair in the agency.
There are.
One is the bean girl. Mm-hmm. You know,
she's super mean.
The stereotypical popular girl.
Yep.
And then one is the lady and they look very similar to me. Mm-hmm. But I mean, probably after the second time seeing them, I didn't get it confused. Because one lady's wearing a suit the whole time and she's in charge, obviously. Right. And the other chick
is just her
the
nemesis.
same level. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
well, geez, what a fucked up thing for her to do, to show up to her wedding and be like, oh, man, that sucks. Only if Ming Ju was here. You're like, oh, what a bitch. Why would you say that? Only if you were good enough at your job.
But also, she was one of the paid guests, you know?
She was the paid guest.
She had to come in. But yeah, no, I don't think you needed to come in right before the wedding.
I don't think that was necessary.
Maybe that's the thing you even wait till after.
Right, even after the reception.
After the reception,
just, be like, by the way, you killed Ming Ju.
On the way out.
Suck.
But of course, it didn't really affect her I'm really glad they didn't linger on that wedding long at all or anything.
No.
They didn't show. I thought for sure they're going to show a scene of them pretending to kiss and pretending to go on a honeymoon and stuff. Fuck no.
Nope.
Because the character is so badass and awesome that she just doesn't have time for that shit. And like you said, you don't know who the bad guy is. It's just anyone that's against this main character is our bad guy.
Yeah.
And you just root for her because you're scared of her.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be on the opposite end of a blade.
No, you do not. It's never a good way to end.
I loved that bus scene at the end when she kills all the guys on the bus and the guy driving.
I know.
And she fucking chops
his hand. He's like, blood squirting everywhere.
Because the whole time I was thinking, who is driving the bus?
Yeah, and who is still continuing being like, you know what, I'm just going to keep driving
I got to keep going. I am the most dedicated bus driver. I got to get my route done.
I got a time crunch. I got to get home at 11:30 sharp.
I know in Japan they're like never late, the bus or anything, but I wasn't sure if that carried over to Korea.
Yeah. And well, it must have. I mean.
But no, it was just a henchman.
Oh, gosh.
Just a really good henchman.
Yep.
And they were like this movie is full of really dedicated henchmen.
They are.
Especially when she's sniping people and they're just stepping in front of him.
I know, like he's the president. Like, let me take this bullet for you, boss.
One after another. One guy gets shot and another guy comes up.
He gets shot in the leg and the shoulder and the head.
I did like that scene though. Chaotic. That was a really good scene. But yeah, that bus scene was a perfect way to end it. And the entire time I'm thinking, there's no way you could outdo the opening. but you knew they were going to have to try. But I think they accomplished it
exactly perfectly. Yeah. I thought the cinematography, the camera work, dude, where they come in and she breaks in through the window, right? And then the camera swings in and then it goes from side and then turns again. And you're like, wow, this is really cool.
And when the camera hits that car too and flips, it looks so real. Yes. I mean, I have to assume it wasn't CGI unless it was the greatest CGI ever
of all time,
because it looks so. Even when they're driving in the car and the guy, it's a wild plan, but the guy in the motorcycle just hits him head on. Like, oh my god, that is
paper flies everywhere.
Not that, but they're going like 40 miles an hour.
Again, dedication.
Exactly.
To the craft.
I mean, because what if he just broke his back and he couldn't do anything? Fuck. Just take me to a hospital.
Like, why do you have a gun on you? Just, fuck.
I'm free to carry. I have open carry. Yeah, it was, that scene was crazy, too. Where that guy just came so dedicated again to the craft.
Yeah,
to the craft of just being a henchman.
That is one thing
really
you can take away from this film.
Sacrifice the body for the play. It's wild.
Oh god.
But yeah, I did laugh out loud because at first I thought they just hit over in a motorcycle. So I'm like, oh my god,
oh poor guy.
My god, this is insane. That guy just pops up, starts shooting, fucking goes crazy.
He's a good shot.
He shoots the main lady, who I always thought was going to come back at some point.
Yeah, so did I.
No,
yep, no,
dead. You get shot in this movie, you're pretty much. It's no
you're
one
out.
Like it's no stupid thing like their twitch at the end.
yeah.
It's very down to earth.
Film,
exactly. It's very down to earth, and that's something I appreciate it. Even though the action is so over top, it was still. It really made me feel like John Wick.
Yeah.
I mean, just how good and how swift the fight choreography was too.
I know. I wish
so many
there was
moving
some
pieces.
way that they would make a sequel to this. I'm
there's gotta be. Well, it's only 2017.
I know, but I'm being so hypocritical because most times we're like, "Oh, you don't need a sequel. We don't need a sequel." But for this film, film like this, this could be the female version of John Wick in South Korea, man. Like this was.
I would love to see her and John Wick team up at some point because they left it kind of open ended.
That'd be sick. even just the actress, like as a side character, in a
just
John
bring
Wick,
her exactly.
would
just
be dope.
And call her the Villainess still. But she doesn't have to have the same storyline, but just still call her the Villainess because it's such a cool moniker and name.
Yeah.
The Villainess. It's fucking awesome.
We should probably talk about this too because we talked about it before we recorded this podcast. But you were telling me at the 70th Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, we do have to bring this up.
That there was a 4-minute standing ovation?
4 minute, and I looked it up. 4 minute, it doesn't even break the top 20. Wow. For longest standing
and
ovation.
That's a long standing ovation.
It is, but for Cannes.
For Cannes.
I remember when Tarantino got a 7-minute standing ovation for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they're like, that's a little disappointing. A lot of people were like, yeah, for Cannes, that's not very long. Yeah. Because one thing we know about Cannes,
they're dedicated.
They love to stand.
They do. They love to stand and clap.
They love to
they're
stand.
Like, please, before the next movie starts, we just need to take a break.
But there are also, everyone at Cannes you have to expect they're all part of the industry, so they're all huge fans of the craft. So you have to assume, but it does get. But I looked it up. It's interesting. Longest standing ovation, 22 minutes.
Wow.
Have you ever stood for 22 minutes just
for anything?
Fun?
No.
Just for fun. Even
not
in
even
line,
for fun.
even in line for something?
No. Well, maybe for a line.
22 minutes. Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
Which is if it's gonna be one film, I think you could do it. Pan's Labyrinth 22 minutes, probably.
Sure.
But the rest of them, Fahrenheit 9/11, which is a documentary, Mud with Matthew McConaughey got an 18-minute standing ovation. Neon Demon, who did not even get very good reviews, got a 17-minute standing ovation.
Really?
So it's really, you're really not sure what's gonna hit.
Yeah. Sometimes with them, I literally think sometimes they just give standing ovations so they have an excuse to run to the bathroom or something.
Well, they can't leave during an ovation.
No.
You can't be like, and then slowly slip out, and then
your way out.
slip back into the...
Like, I made it back, right? In time?
No one saw me, yeah. We're still doing this. We're still clapping. 22 minutes, though, you do have time to go grab a hot dog, a drink.
That is true.
Talk to someone in the lobby for 15 minutes, and then still make it back for a 1 minute of the ovation. 22 minutes.
It takes shifts. I think everyone's Just taking shit.
All right, guys, I'm going to sit this one.
Okay, 5-minute break. You guys keep going, and then I'll cover the next
I wonder what Guillermo was doing the whole time. Just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's got to be awkward for a film director.
Yeah, because the director never stands to applaud your own film, obviously. Yeah. You're not like,
yes,
greatest work I've ever seen. But, yeah, you're just sitting there. While people are,
22 minutes.
And not even why, because the film goes black, so they're turning around, staring at you, clapping, looking at you.
That's so weird.
What do you do for 22 minutes?
I have no idea.
Just give it a wave
For 22 minutes.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
That is insane. Like I wish
too
they
long.
had.
It's too long.
I'd like to just watch the video
I
of
know.
a 22-minute ovation, just to watch it, just to be like, it.
Well, after
people got to be lying to you.
Yeah. After 10 minutes, someone had to have thrown their phone up and be like, I think maybe I should record today.
Yeah, this is insane.
We may die here.
We may never leave.
And how do you stop it?
You don't.
Who's the guy to stop the 22?
Yeah.
Like, all right, guys, my hands are bleeding.
Let's wrap it up. Fuck. Let's watch the next film. What are we doing here? It's 22 minutes.
It's a little pretentious.
It is. I would say so.
It's a little like, let's all just pat ourselves on the back for
I think no matter what, I think the longest standing ovation that is necessary would be 5 minutes. And then after that, wrap it up.
If you get a 30 seconds, I've never been to a film. I mean, I get it's canned, it's the premiere, but I've never been to a film where everyone at the end stood up and even for 10 seconds clapped.
Right.
I mean, I've seen where people clap in their seats, but to stand up and give it a good clapping, you really got to be moved.
You do. you really
And it's also the thing where it's like, you're not going to even imagine, I'm sure there's people that are in there that didn't even like the film.
Probably.
And they feel like they got to stand up and clap.
Like, oh, God, okay. Wasn't that good, but fuck.
Yeah, like Neon Demon, 17-minute. And that film, again, it didn't get great reviews.
I don't even think I've seen Neon Demon.
No, I guarantee you haven't. It's from the director of Drive, Nicholas Renfren.
Nope, I have not seen this one. It's a psychological horror film.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds cool.
It's a good-looking film, but it's no substance.
Oh,
no
really?
Story, yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Because I love the director after Drive, but he's never done a 59%.
Wow.
It got a 17-minute standing ovation.
For a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yep.
And Keanu Reeves is in it.
And Bella Heathcote.
Well, yeah, and Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning. Yeah.
She's the main actress, yeah. And Christina Hendricks, who's also in Drive,
Oh,
who's a
hell yeah.
bombshell from Mad Men.
Easy enough.
All right. Is there anything
Yep,
we need to talk about?
I think that's it on
we
the
got
Villainess.
into a tangent about cans.
Yeah, we did.
That will probably get a lot of hate from all the cans fans out
That's
there.
okay.
We'll probably never be invited now.
Probably not.
Because they know we won't stand for 22 minutes.
We'll stand for 5.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll tell them that right now. We'll stand for 5, but anything
I
else,
won't stand
I'm going
for
to the
5 for
concession
anything,
stand.
though.
I'm getting a popcorn, a drink.
Well, I'm on to the next film.
Right? Yeah. We go to the other.
Guys, we have 18 movies to watch today.
We don't have time for this.
We will be here all night if we got to stand
at this rate.
But yeah, I say that knowing that I'll never get a chance to go to cans and stand, because I would in a heartbeat. I'd stand up there.
Oh, absolutely.
If I knew Guillermo was 4
Cannes.
rows behind me, I'd be clapping at anything. My hands would be going numb.
That is true. Yeah, imagine us being there. We'd be like, are standing for. We'll stand for 30.
And
We're just
he's
here.
just staring at you, making sure you're clapping.
Oh gosh.
He's the nicest guy in the world. I doubt he would care about
Yeah,
that.
he wouldn't even care. He's not like that.
All right, that is The Villainess. If you haven't seen it yet, it's free on Hulu. But
It is.
I would pay to see this movie.
Yeah, this would have been one of those where I would have
Especially-
been pleasantly fine with.
Imagine how fun
$6.99
this would be
for
in
it.
a theater. This
So
is a
much.
film that would be worth seeing on a big screen because it's so much action.
It is.
And so many huge like set pieces, and again, so many moving parts. In each fight scene, there's like 40 different people that are all moving at the same time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Alrighty, well, that is our review for The Villainous. You guys, as we just said, can find this on Hulu for free with a subscription. If you guys like what you've seen here and watch it on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. If you're listening in audio format, you can find our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, social medias, Twitter, Seen It Podcast, Cash on Twitter, that's just Cash, Instagram, Have You Seen It, Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.